Yeah, this man gonna message me back and say, I'm not gonna lie. I expected you to be a little bit more classier than Saltgrass. I expected more from you.
Entitled woman regretting not dating the friend zone guy. She friend zoned him for 5 years and then got mad when he did this.
Single girlies in their late 20s, early 30s. Where are we finding men?
Unfortunately, they are working overtime instead of going out and dating because they feel they will never be attractive enough or wealthy enough for a girl ever again. They would rather check their weather app than chat with another person on Hinge.
They check the weather app. Anything else but date you women. That's crazy work.
Men will be fired, divorced, in debt, and the only thing they'll say is, I'll figure it out.
Hey, note to ladies, when the guy doesn't help you carry your bags and stands there and watches you, listen, no.
These men stop helping at home because of how much they are criticized for what they're doing. Women, we need to hear this loud and clear. We gotta look in the mirror and acknowledge what we're doing to maybe contribute to the situation not being that good.
Men of today are not interested in coming to save you because they don't see behavior from you that is worth saving. When you act like a man, the expectation is for you to defend yourself like a man. And when you are out in the street fighting, when you are out at 3 a.m. involved in an altercation, men compartmentalize that. And they already know that you're not the caliber of woman that necessitates them risking their lives for and getting involved.
But I was struggling to bring my TV, fit it into my car. It was in a big box. It's a 55-inch. It could barely fit into this car. I'm sitting out here struggling to get this in my car. Men are walking back and forth. No one is trying to help me.
Nobody's approaching you, nobody's talking to you, nobody's asking you a date, nobody even looks at you, and they're not going to. They will not approach you.
Right, but if you're a man and you watch me struggle to put my carry-on in the overhead compartment and you don't offer to help, jail. What is wrong with you?
Men are no longer obsessed with women. Men are growing out of that. Thank God. A lot of men are done with dating. They're not chasing women anymore, and they are on their mission to become successful.
Can we just talk about that? Not one person, not one man on that train give up a seat for a woman. That would never happen in Liverpool where I'm from, you know. Like, just someone, if you want to see it, like a woman's been stood up the whole journey, even if it's a half the journey. I'm not talking about me, but like an old woman. Just pisses me off.
Why men are saying no to marriage. A lot of men are tired of feeling undervalued. Society has shifted. Men are now just expected to do everything, provide, protect, lead, being emotionally available, while receiving less appreciation than they ever have. At least society used to speak highly of men constantly. And now what? None of that. It's all negative. In the past, men were respected and appreciated for being good husbands and for being good fathers. And now marriage doesn't even give men any appreciation or validation or security that it once did. He can't even expect the lady he's with to be loyal. Men are saying no to marriage because they just don't see the value in it anymore. And can we blame them? They're tired of just being seen as a provider. And until marriage starts offering men the same love, respect, and commitment, more and more men are just gonna keep walking away. Marriage is supposed to be a choice, not an obligation. And men are now choosing themselves.
Yo, what is up with men? And I know this is always a topic.
And what specific topic is this video going to be about?
Here, but I'm generally speaking about why do men have a hard time helping women?
They don't have a hard time helping women, but they've been told to leave women alone.
Something that I have observed not only in my personal life, but literally in the outside world, because I'm a watcher. Men will stand there. The women will have all the bags, the kids, the suitcases, the luggage. She'll be doing everything, and he's just standing there.
I wonder, did she ask for help?
They'll just be standing there, like just watching the woman suffer as if it brings them some kind of pleasure. From my perspective, it looks like that because I'll just be looking and I'm just like, anybody would help that woman right now. Why are you just standing there? Y'all are the men?
I guess some women do need men after all, if for nothing more than to carry heavy objects. But I guess one didn't take into consideration that a lot of men stopped helping women because whenever they do, many times they're often told that they're not doing it right, they're doing it wrong, and the woman will just redo it anyway after making the man feel about 1 inch tall. Gee, I can't imagine why more men wouldn't want to help out.
Apparently there's a study that said women who live alone age slower and they have like less cortisol. And I'm just like, can men do anything? Like there's studies that show that women are more depressed when they live with a man, or women are more likely to be, or worse, when they're in a relationship with a man. And I'm just like, what are we doing, man? Sounds like living with a man, dating a man is just, it's just shortening your life, okay? It's just making your life worse. I don't care how good of a man you have. I don't think they're doing anything to contribute to better your life, genuinely. They're putting you in harm's way, and if they're not putting you in harm's way, they're putting you under stress, making you age faster. As someone who lives alone, shit, man, I don't think I could ever go to living with a man. Maybe I'll have a boyfriend, but he's gonna live somewhere else. He could live next door. I don't know. Like that Whoopi Goldberg clip. Like, I just genuinely, do they do anything right? Do men do anything right? Do men contribute to your life at all? In any good way? They say it's to protect you, but like I said, you're more likely to be depressed and more likely to be hurt when you are dating a man. So protect you from what? I don't know, man. It really just seems like they do absolutely nothing for our lives. And I think as women, we really need to stand up. And if you are going to date a man, like I'm not saying I never want to date a man, but if you are going to date a man, that better be the best man in your entire life. That man better have no cons, okay? It should be all be pros. I don't need y'all settling for anybody, considering you're more likely to be depressed, hurt, whatever, more likely to age faster. You better have the world's highest standards, because you are literally risking your life and shortening your life by dating a man and living with a man.
I hear your message, but maybe you ain't the one to deliver it. I'm just saying. Listen, man.
I have a question for the men. Do you guys still want to get married?
The amount of men that are broke, don't want to be providers, or spend their money to take a woman out to nice places, what do you want then? Do you even like women?
I'm really beginning to believe that the majority of women that make content such as this don't even like men. They just see them as objects that they can use for what they can get out of them, because that seems to be the only real reason that this type of content is being put up.
Maybe you should be dating men.
Really? If a person just wants to get on the internet to disparage men, just say so. It's a lot easier.
Types of guys are wondering what they're getting in return when they're getting her presents.
Well, whoop-de-doo. It seems like the value of the presence of some of these women that put out this type of content is definitely overvalued.
Men can afford their own dinner. They don't need to be there.
By their own logic, then, those women should be probably dating other women.
You don't understand. There can only be one princess.
By virtue of the fact that a person happens to be a woman does not automatically make them a princess. Princesses, for example, are usually traditionally courteous, cultured, magnanimous, a pleasure to be around, where a lot of these women definitely lack the necessary credentials to fall into that category.
No, I've been having fun with y'all because, conversations like this is fun, but this is what I do hate. I hate when women try to act like they don't know what's going on purpose and try to find all these little loopholes. There's no doubt in my mind that she isn't in love now, because if somebody keeps sacrificing for you and doing for you, you fall in love with them. That's usually what a lot of women do. They don't be attracted to the guy, but because of everything he do for her, she fall in love with him. That's not my point I'm trying to make. The point that we're trying to make is that her initial reaction, which an initial reaction is usually your most authentic one, she wasn't attracted to that man. Okay? And when men say stuff like this, if a man said he married a woman and was not initially attracted to her, y'all would get it then. Y'all would get how crazy it sounds. But because it's a woman and because it ended with her getting stability, it's not so bad. That's crazy. That is crazy. Now, I'm not saying she did nothing wrong, because again, I don't care. Okay? I don't gotta live that life. That's her life to live. I never said it was a good or bad thing. What I am saying though, it's weird how women like to change the goalposts when they want it to make sense. But can't no married man right now get online and say, when I first met my wife, I was not initially attracted to her. It took me about 3 days to get attracted to her. And I fell in love with her because of how she showed up for me in my marriage, that made me love her more. Can't no man say that. Cause y'all gonna chew him up, y'all gonna chew her up, y'all gonna tell her to divorce him, y'all gonna bully that lady. That's what I don't like. That is what's weird. That is what's weird. If you okay with people not being attracted to they people in the beginning, just keep it across the board. Just stop being weird. I just don't understand that part. Just tell the truth. It's not a hard thing to do. Just tell the truth.
I honestly wonder what the man that I thought I was going to marry is thinking right now. Because the reason I broke things off with him is like mid-September. We broke up twice. The first time it was like a religion thing where I was like, I'm not doing it. And he tried to like get me back. And I was like, no. And there's just so many emotions involved. It was like hard to let go. But when we broke it off, it's because I flat out asked him, the election was happening. I was like, who'd you vote for? And he was like, are we there yet? And I'm like, yeah, we're talking about meeting families. We're talking about how we would love kids. We're talking about future. Yeah, we're definitely there. And it just so happens that we are getting to know each other during this time of the election. So who'd you vote for? And he was like, well, I abstained from voting. But if I would have voted, I would have voted for Trump. And I was like, I can't do it. I cannot do it. I can be a difference of religion, a difference of, spiritual beliefs. I cannot do difference of opinion politics.
How? They mesh into the same thing a lot of times. These modern women think they're so above a man. That's why y'all can't get married. The man said, I didn't vote. But if I did, this is who I would have voted for. Did you even stop to ask him why he might not have voted for the other side? No, of course not. Because you only think about yourself. That's why. Modern women continue to think about themselves and men are tired of it. Go get a life.
Dear Justina, should my fiance be expected to pay for wedding details he's not planning? Welcome to Watch Your Mouth, my bite-sized advice column. My fiance and I are getting married in June of 2025 and have started planning our dream wedding. We are paying for it ourselves, but don't have combined bank accounts or other finances yet. Yesterday, when I brought up how we could break down the catering payments, he told me that he doesn't think he should have to pay for any part of the wedding he isn't planning, which by his own admission is anything other than his suit and bachelor trip. I am floored. His belief is that because he would be okay with a private elopement, I should pay for the wedding myself. What do I do? You stop planning immediately. You aren't even on the same page as this man. In fact, I doubt you are even in the same book. I don't think all budgets need to be 50-50, but you don't need to plan a wedding with someone who doesn't see themselves as your partner 100% of the time. Especially in organizing a day that is specifically about celebrating said partnership. It is time to have a conversation with him about exactly how much he values counting his coins.
Yeah, but of course, y'all are trying to say that the man is wrong in the situation instead of saying, okay, our dream wedding. They've had to talk about this. You can tell by him saying, well, I want this for a bachelor party and I want my suit. That's all I want. I'm okay with a private ceremony. I don't want something big, huge, a grand thing that we have to spend so much money on. Too many times modern women get bogged down with this huge, extravagant, expensive wedding. And a man is like, we don't need that. We still have to live after the wedding. I'm all for having something nice too, but I don't want something super extravagant and expensive. This is one of the reasons, another one of the reasons that men separate themselves from dating modern women. They don't want to get married anymore because of stupid stuff like this. And y'all backing her up. Like, is anybody going to stand and see from the man's perspective? We're spending too much money. We're doing too much. We can take some of that money. I don't mind spending money. We can take some of that money and put it on a honeymoon. But you're going to have me out here breaking down the cost for a $30,000, let's say $30,000, right? And then you want me to pay let's say $10,000. That's 10. You're not going to split the cost on an engagement ring, are you? No. Then I've got to pay 10 plus, let's say 500 for my suit. So 10K for the ring. That's 10.5. And then I've got to pay, let's say, a $30,000 wedding. I got to pay 15 on top of that. I'm up to 25 and you're still sitting at 15. Let's say you want to get your bridal, your dress or whatever and whatnot. Let's say 3,000, right? You're sitting at 18. I'm 25 in. You're at 18. So you're still saving. Does that make sense? And I haven't even paid for my bachelor party, right? I haven't paid for that. If I want to treat myself, I haven't even paid for that. And who knows what other things that you're going to add. Oh, last minute stuff that comes up. Hey, can we split this? Can we? So it's really going to be a little bit more than $30,000, to be honest with you. So either way, the man is going to be more out of pocket with his cost than you are. And you're wondering why he wanted to keep it to a private ceremony. But the man is the problem. Y'all stay single, because with this attitude, men are staying single.
I feel like I said this before, but I'm going to say it again. I cannot date a man that can go 24 hours without speaking to me. In my mind, that means that I am not a priority to you. And I don't want to date no man that doesn't make me their priority. And I know y'all going to be in the comments like, oh, people are busy, people have lives, they're not on their phones 24/7. Cool. Communicate that. Hey, have a busy day today. Or tomorrow, have a busy day. You probably won't hear from me as much. Communication. But to go a whole 24 hours saying nothing, and then you pop back up the next day or the next 2 days like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I was so busy. Huh? That just doesn't fly with me. It doesn't. It just doesn't. Because you had a busy day, right? Maybe a busy work day, or there was a part in your 24 hours that was busy. So in the 12 hours that people are usually up, you couldn't find 30 seconds to send me a text or a call? Like that, I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't accept that. You make time for what you want to make time for.
I'm sure you're a nice person. I think she's a teacher, and I really, really appreciate that about you. But this is why men walk away from relationships. This is why men are not dating. This is why men are staying single. For videos just like this, CJ says, if y'all haven't spoken in 24 hours, then that means that you didn't reach out to him either, right? Zulu Whiskey 90 says, this is hilarious. Doesn't a text message go both ways? Exactly. Sin6 says, but why do we always have to be the first to call to check up on you? Why don't you check up on him as well? It takes two people. Exactly. Where are all the good men at? Why can't I find a man? I want a generous man. I want a provider man. How about you start being generous? How about you start calling and checking up on somebody? How about you get outside of yourself and stop waiting on the man to do everything?
Okay, y'all stay with me because I'm gonna make this very quick. But on today's episode of Men Ain't Never Satisfied, and this is why I don't go on dates with y'all now. I finally messaged this man back that had been in my DMs, right? So this man had been in my DMs religiously since like 2020, y'all. So I finally messaged this man back and, trying to get out there, open myself up to start dating again and stuff. So me and him made it out the DM. So we started texting each other. So the guy is texting me and we share interests and he's like, I would like to take you out on a date. What do you like to do? So of course I'm like, a little simple day, we can go out to eat or something, right? Cool. So he's like, where would you like to go? Like what do you like to eat? So I'm like, we can do something simple, since it's like a first date. I'm like, we can go like to Saltgrass or something. Y'all, I said Sawgrass because I'm the type of person who is considerate, and I'm the type of person as a woman who just really do consider like men and them spending all their money. I didn't want him to take me nowhere that was gonna be so expensive because I don't know if I'm gonna like this man, after this date. So, anyways, the typing message, the little bubbles is going, all right? And it was going for a little while. And I'm like, like maybe is Sawgrass too high? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, this man gonna message me back and say, I'm not gonna lie. I expected you to be a little bit more classier than Sawgrass. I expected more from you. He expected more from me. Now just make that make sense. Okay? And I'm just gonna leave y'all with that. And it just shows me that this dating world and these men these days, they just are a different type of breed. And honey, I'm not equipped to deal with you all.
I don't know about Saltgrass and you being classless for that, but I do want to point out something else, and this is what makes it hard for men to date. This is one of the main reasons that men don't approach. They don't court, because you put them in the friend zone. The man has been in the friend zone for going on 4 or 5 years at the time of recording this video. 4 or 5 years, you left him in there, right? So at some point in time, you guys have to stop thinking it's all the man's problem. You take no accountability. It's always him. Signs, shame, insults, guilt. And the last one in your case is the need to be right. The need to be right. You should have long before, now I want to try after 5 years. That's half a decade. That's half a decade of just sitting there when all your other options have dwindled. Oh man, let me let him take, I can let him take me out to Saltgrass. You know what? I'm good. I think I'm going to go my own way. I expected a little bit more out of you. For you to be acting like that, maybe he had a point. For you not to answer his DMs for 4 to 5 years, maybe he had a point. This is why men are walking away.